Hello, everyone. Dr. Vicky here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center. Welcome to this video. This is the Tarot-Scope for the sign of Scorpio for the month of May 2025. It's hard to believe that we're already in May. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the astrology for the month. We're going to take a look at the astrology specific for Scorpio, and then we'll do a card reading at the end. I will timestamp it for those who are not particularly interested in the astrology. Before I get started, however, I'd like to welcome my new subscribers. Welcome to this wonderful collection of like-minded souls. You're going to have a lot of fun here. For my tried and true who have been with me for years, you know how much fun we've had, even though it's been at times a challenging path to walk. For my new members on my YouTube channel, thank you so much for supporting me in that way. There's definitely more to come. I'm still sort of working out the kinks of having a membership. But I do promise that there's more really interesting things that are going to happen. And of course, you get these first. You get the Tarot-Scopes first. Um, and then for my Patreon folk who have been with me for years as well, thank you so much. I really do appreciate your support over all these years. So let's get into it. Let's take a look at the astrology to start with. Okay. Let me find the correct spot. All right. So we're going to look at, let's keep going till I find it. Okay. So what we're looking at right now is both the Tree of Life for May and the primary astrological things that are happening. Let's look at the tree first. We can see that we have some changing energy here. This is the Sephiroth of the circle, Sephiroth. That's the Kabbalistic name for it. Of Saturn, we see Saturn is going to be changing signs this month. We also see the Sephiroth of Mercury is very active with three signs that Mercury is going to be moving through, or at least partially moving through. Venus is in Aries all month. These pretty much stay steady on this side of the tree. We start the month with Venus making a conjunction to Neptune. Neptune is the higher octave of Venus, and so they have a special relationship. It really sort of ups the ante when it comes to the Venus energy, which is about relationship and it's about love. And when we add Neptune, it's like a love of humanity. It's a love one another, love thy brothers and sisters kind of energy. And that starts off the month. Now, Venus just came out of her retrograde cycle. She's been moving forward in Aries now. And now she just moved into Aries actually just a few days before the beginning of May. And so now she is in her armor, and she's had her retrograde cycle, and she's done all the inner work, and now she's ready to express herself in the outer world. On the 4th, we have Pluto go retrograde. It stations to go retrograde at 4 degrees of Aquarius. This is far forward as Pluto travels this year to 4 degrees. Now it's going to back up. It's going to turn around again at the end of the month and start to move forward. So as we begin next year, in the end of this year, we have Pluto moving forward, but it's going to be in those lower degrees of Aquarius. On the 5th, we have Mercury making a sextile to Jupiter. This is a distribution of knowledge that we have accrued over the last year. So this is a very important time for progressive change. On the 6th, Venus makes a waxing sextile to Pluto. This opens lines of communication so that we can communicate what our values, our deepest values are. On the 10th, Mercury, which has been in Aries, moves into Taurus. That's a very stabilizing influence for Mercury. Very, very slow and steady wins the race. And I think it's good. I feel it's going to calm the mind down a little bit, put the mind on more practical concerns. And so less wanting to break out and do something new and or protest, and a little bit more of taking care of business at home. On the 12th, we have a full moon in the sign of Scorpio. Scorpio is one of the two signs that deal with relationship, Libra being the other sign, but Scorpio is more intense. Scorpio is willing to face the difficult stuff, not so much. Scorpio is more of a Mars ruled sign, so it has more of an aggressive side as opposed to Libra, which is a Venus ruled sign, tends to sort of sit back and watch and wait, whereas Scorpio goes for what it wants, goes for its desires. Well, we're going to be made aware of our desires this month. We also have Mercury making a first quarter square to Pluto. This is a crisis in action square, so we may feel the need to take an action on some information that we get, or take action and express ourselves. That could be the action. On the 17th, Mars makes, the Sun conjoins Uranus. This is the start of the Sun-Uranus synodic cycle. And the Sun Uranus United synodic cycle, is usually in the same sign for 7 years, because that's how long Uranus spends in a sign. And so we're at the end of we're at the end of Taurus. I'm not sure we're going to have another conjunction of the Sun and Uranus in Taurus, but we still have illuminations around our values, Taurus, around our money, Taurus, around our essential needs, Taurus. And of course, Uranus is very disruptive energy. So while we're becoming aware of things, we're usually coming aware of them through crisis. On the 18th, Mercury squares Mars. This could be a little testy of a day, especially after that, although it's 5 days later, that full moon in Scorpio. So this is pretty passionate time, and there can be some arguments, especially with the Sun conjunct Uranus, because Uranus is the one who doesn't want to go by the rules. So there can be some of that. On the 20th, we have the Sun ingress into Gemini. As the Sun makes a sextile to Saturn, that Sun sextile Saturn brings structure to our learning, information, data gathering, perhaps some traditional information coming through. And then with the Sun in Gemini, we sort of start to reach out to others. I always feel like the Sun in Taurus is the time that we spend in our garden, and the Sun in Gemini is when we open the garden gate and say hello to our neighbors and see what they're planting in their gardens this year. On the 20, hold on one second here. On the 22nd, we have a lovely trine between Venus and Mars. That's really nice for a relationship. And we have the Sun making a sextile to Neptune. This is a great energy of opening up to spirit. So in general, the 22nd is really nice day. The 24th, 2 days later, things get a little bit more intense in their way. The Sun makes a waxing trine to Pluto. That's illumination. That's egoic. There's a lot of ego energy with that, but it is very self-expressive, and it is about change. It is about change. We also have Mercury conjoin with Uranus at that same degree that the Sun did, 28 degrees of Taurus, and probably most important, Saturn ingresses into Aries. This is the first time Saturn's been in Aries in about 29 years. Or at that degree of Aries anyway. And so this is sort of, in a way, this is the Saturn return of the Clinton presidency, quite frankly. All right, on the 25th, Mercury follows the Sun and ingresses into Gemini. At the same time, it makes a sextile to Saturn. So this brings in the structure of Saturn. It's really nice. Really, it's a good energy to have this Mercury making the sextile to Saturn as Saturn goes into Aries and Mercury is in Gemini. This is communication about new things. On the 26th, Mercury makes a sextile to Neptune. Now we're talking the spirit with this one. And we have a new moon in Gemini. And the ruler of the new moon in Gemini is Mercury, which happens to be making this lovely sextile to Neptune. So spirit is never far away. That's why it's important for us to ask for help from spirit, because we are going to get it. And we might actually get it and actually get it quicker than we usually do, which sometimes takes a while. Okay. On the 27th, Mercury makes a trine to Pluto. Just like the sun did, this is a flow of energy. Mercury is more about our minds, whereas the sun is more about our beingness. That sun trine Pluto can change our sense of self and our sense of purpose, whereas with Mercury, it can change our mind. It can change our mind. And then on the 30th, we have a conjunction of the Sun and Mercury. This is called the superior conjunction because Mercury is direct as opposed to being retrograde. And this conjunction happens at 10 degrees of Gemini. So it brings up that sort of Gemini energy. And of course, we have the Sun in Gemini. We have Jupiter in Gemini. We have Mercury in Gemini. So this whole line here at some point is activated with all that Gemini energy. Okay, let's go specifically to your sign now, Scorpio. We'll go and find Scorpio. Where's Scorpio hiding? Oh, there it was. There's Scorpio. All right, so as you can notice, the majority of energy this month for you is on this side of the chart. This is the side of the chart that deals with relationship. So a lot of interrelationship. Saturn starts in the 5th house, moves into the 6th house. Saturn's been in that 5th house for a while now. So Saturn in the 5th house can put the kibosh on fun. Saturn moving into the 6th house sort of frees up the fun a little bit, but it is the house of health. And so as Saturn pokes its head into your 6th house, you may get some sort of symptoms and stuff that you will need to deal with once Saturn permanently moves in there next year, at the beginning of next year, and then spends about 2.5 years in that house. But you may get a clue as to what you need to work with or pay attention to. The sun starts the month in your house of relationship, the 7th house. And then it moves into the 8th house, which is the house that's naturally ruled by Scorpio. So the sun in that house is nothing new for you. But it does illuminate some of the hidden stuff, which of course Scorpio doesn't really like when the hidden stuff is illuminated. The other sort of illumination of something around Scorpio comes with the full moon in your 1st house. So your feelings, even though you tend to keep them close to the vest, will be right up front. Right up front. And I would say for people, I would say you heed them, but I'd say even more importantly that the people in your life heed them. This is the axis. The axis of the full moon is the axis of self and others. And so it brings an illumination around yourself and your relationships and how well they're working for you. We do also have a new moon that happens towards the end of the month, and that's going to be happening in that 8th house in Gemini. Jupiter is still moving through that 8th house. This is Jupiter through that 8th house can be people are willing to lend you money, but you can also get in a lot of debt with Jupiter moving through that 8th house. So be aware and take care of that. Uranus still remaining in your 7th house. It will be moving into the 8th house temporarily. That happens next month or July. July, I think. I think that happens in July. So we still have some time with Uranus there, but then it is going to go back into the 7th house. So you're not quite done with illuminating things around your relationships. There's Pluto down in the 4th house. The 4th house is the house of soul. Pluto is one of your ruling planets. It is moving retrograde now, so that's something to consider. Retrograde usually means more introspectiveness. So you spend a lot of time relating with others, but the time that you spend alone in introspection is vitally important for the health of your soul. And there we have Mars here, Mars up here in the 10th house in Leo. A lot of energy in the most public place. And so this can be creative energy. Could be anger. It is in Leo. Leo does square your sign. And so that can be a little stressful, but it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. You're asserting yourself in the outside world, especially where you may be the head of something or the leader or the boss. All right. So let us stop the share and we're going to do a card reading. So let me see, what deck am I going to use for Scorpio? I think I'll use the Light Seers deck. All right. So what does Scorpio need to be aware of for the month of May? According to the Light Seers Tarot. I like this deck. I know I've said it before. It's very modern to me. I like the modern sensibilities of the deck. You Scorpios are all so modern. Although Scorpio is a sign that loves to like renovate things, bring things back to their former glory, but with a little bit of a twist, perhaps. I had an aunt who was Scorpio. She loved bringing in like new fashions and stuff into the house. Interestingly enough, she wasn't too obsessed with the past. Pretty cool lady. My godmother, Minnie. Minnie. I miss her. She was cool. We start with the Two of Wands. This is you looking out at the world and figuring out how you want to make your mark. You're planning, you're figuring it out, you're deciding which direction you want to go in. It's a very sort of inspirational time for you and a time of enlightenment. There's a lot of light with this energy. What's crossing that is people getting away with some things. This is stealing. So what I would say is while you're planning for the future, you want to keep an eye on the present because there may be people in your vicinity that are not being on the up and up. Now, if anybody can figure that out and point them out, it's you, Scorpio, because you have a bit of a suspicious a suspicious mindset, but that's because you've been burned before. So it's not you're just suspicious for the point of being suspicious. At the root of this is the high priestess. You know some things. You have some secrets. You are privy to some information that other people are not privy to. The high priestess speaks of what we know, but what we don't always speak of. You've spent the past really searching for your guiding star. I would imagine that this is part of this energy. I think you've probably made some decisions about the direction that you want to go. And that's from the fact that you have focused on it in a very sort of introspective and meditative way. In the sky, ooh, the Three of Pentacles, one of my favorite cards, honestly. This is about working together with others who are really good at what they do. So you're not going to be doing things alone, or there's opportunities for you to become part of a group of people with a common goal. And I think it's going to be very positive for you. Let's see what's in the immediate future. Yeah, there's some emotional ups and downs. You want to make sure that you don't get caught up. This is sort of maybe feeling like you're underwater a bit. It could be the Neptune energy, the Aries, the Neptune in Aries, and then Saturn in Aries kind of energy that's making you feel a little less, things are a little less clear for you. So you're gonna feel like perhaps you're not seeing things clearly that you normally see, but be aware that are opportunities out there for you, and you may not quite see them as clearly as you would like. Um, Let me see here. All right, how it's seen from the outside. A decision has been made. You've made decisions to free yourself from some sort of constraint, from some sort of feeling that you have no options, realizing that you have all the options. So people are seeing your progress, your domestic situation. There's somebody in your domestic situation that might be caught up in addiction. I don't think this is you, but if you think it's you, then you want to attend to that. And that could be part of this as well. Both of these kind of speak of that energy. Don't allow things to separate you from your light. If you're offered something that seems too good to be true, it certainly is. Okay, so just be aware that there's all this energy around you being focused on the future, and yet there's things happening around you that need to be watched. Hopes and fears. The end of something. The end of something. Something has come to an end. I don't know if it's a hope or a fear. You can decide on that. And the outcome. Two of Pentacles, balancing the books, balancing yourself, balancing your body. This would be a good time to do some yoga, perhaps, to help to bring that balance in. And then we have the Wheel of Fortune, which is change. So things are changing. I think things are falling away that no longer serve you. But it's up to you to sort of balance. I think what these cards are indicating to me is that through the whole process, you have to take two sides of something into consideration, keeping your balance. And as you do that, then things change. But there are some people or some situations around you that you do need to watch, which as a Scorpio, you're probably doing it anyway. So underneath it all is the Ten of Cups, which is happiness, the world, something coming to an end and a new beginning, and death, which is the change. And this is also the Scorpio card in the deck. So there is what's underneath it is that things are going to change. And there can be some things that where you feel like, oh, things are finally like satisfied and things are working. But if it's not serving you, it's going to go. And if it's still there, then you know that it's a good thing, right? I feel like, sometimes we don't have to work too hard when it comes to figuring out what needs to leave our lives. The hard part is letting it go, right? And so that is the lesson of Scorpio, is let go, let God, trust the soul, trust the merging with the soul, let go of the ego, because there are more riches coming from the soul. All right. I'm going to do one oracle card. I'm going to be using the Spirit of the Wheel Oracle meditation deck. It doesn't call itself an oracle deck. It's a meditation deck. So let's pull one of those for you, Scorpio. It might elucidate a little bit more of what's going on. I mean, you do have a lot of energy in the relating area of your chart. So obviously relationship is going to be kind of a big deal this month for you. And of course, the full moon with the sun and the moon in the houses of relating. That may be part of that Scorpio new moon, a full moon. Is that something maybe revealed to you that you need to keep your balance through, because the universe, I think, will take it upon itself to rid you of anything that's keeping you from your light. We all need help sometimes with that stuff. Creator one. Awareness, co-creation, there we go, and change. Awareness, co-creation, and change. Okay. Okay, needs to take the glasses off again. Hopefully this is focused. It's hard for me to tell. Okay, there we go. The Creator card brings a period of examining your faith and values. There is a strong desire for change and redirection in your life. Here you are given the gift of awareness. The hidden truth may be revealed to you, or a new understanding unveiled in your near future. This newfound information will bring about necessary changes. Connect with the oneness of Great Spirit through your prayers and beliefs. Co-create the hopes and dreams you have envisioned by experiencing change, letting go of whatever is no longer serving your highest good. The Creator card is a gentle reminder that you have faith in Great Spirit and yourself. If you have faith in Great Spirit and yourself, you can overcome any obstacle towards change. Having faith in the great mystery allows necessary change to unfold. And this is your prayer. With the greatest of honor, I open myself to the complete truth of who I am. I trust, Great Spirit, that you will assist me on my path. Help me to build my dreams and develop my potential for the higher good. Kind of does resonate with the cards and the astrology. So let it go, let it go. Sorry, I know you're gonna have that in your head now for like a week. But it's not a bad song to have in your head when you're a Scorpio, because that's really what being a Scorpio is all about. You guys are amazing. All right, have yourself a great month. Hope to see you on the channel. Like and subscribe if you're not already. Take care of yourselves, and you will survive and you will thrive. Take care, everyone. Namaste.